Well, hello, Stampers. It's the Pampered Stamper, and welcome to Tuesday Stories and Stamps. So, for the month of August, this is the only video that I am doing because it's less than 3 weeks to my wedding. So, that's super exciting, and that's taking up a lot of my time. And as well as spending time with my kids before I move to Holland. So, lots of fun things happening and yeah, transitioning a little bit away from the funeral from Pop and holding on to the happy memories and trying to be there for Mom. And yeah, so it's been an intense few weeks, but it's also been wonderful with the outpouring of love and the connections with the family. So I appreciate you for being here. Today, I'm going to share with you a card that I am also making for my international Create With Us tutorial for next month. So you guys get a little sneak peek, at least I get to show you mine. There'll be 13 other projects in there, and you can find those tutorials every month on my blog. So they're either free with a $60 purchase if you live in Canada or in Europe, or you can purchase them for $20 on my blog. So they're wonderful. They're a great jumpstart to your creativity. Let's have a look. So I have here the Fabulous Frames dies that I'm going to be using, and they're really nice. So there's this big one. Well, I'll show you what they look like, and then these are the little corner ones that will, that you can use on a for scrapbooking to they look like those old-fashioned photo mounts. Now, I want to see. Oh yeah, I have them in white and I have them in espresso. So here you have one, and then we have the oval, and I'm not sure which shows up better. Then we have the big rectangle, and I'll do them in the espresso as well. And I don't know if you can see this. I need better lighting. Anyway, sometimes it's just hard to make a good video. I do say so myself. Some things show better than others. There's also this little guy, this little him. And then here are the little corner mounts, and they're cut and embossed. And now if you spritz with water, you will get a more detailed, you can see them on my hand. I'm still not happy with how it's showing up. Then you also have your cutouts from the inside, so you can use those as well. So there's a lot of options that you can do to make this really nice. I'm going to put this on here, and you can see what I mean here. So, and there's one with swirlies, and then there's another one that just has little lines on it, trying to see like this. So I think that would be really cool with vintage pictures, and then you use the black instead. So that's really cool. I really, really, really like that set of dies. Okay, so it's a little bit of a mess that you can see. I'm just going to show them to you again up close. You can see all the detail in there. Isn't that great? So those are the dies that I'm using today, and they're called Fabulous Frames dies, and it's number 159163. So that's Exhibit A. And Exhibit B is this Fond of Autumn stamp set, and I showed it to you in a video of just when I was showing different stamps, and I'm really, really happy with it. I love the sayings, I love the font, and I love that this big image can be cut out as a whole, or it can be cut out in pieces. And so I'm using all the pieces today. And then there's another thing that you could use to make a decor thing in the background. I'm also using this big banner die, okay? So I'll show you the finished card before we get started. It is this, okay? So I love the idea of having an embossed background and then creating a sort of frame for my flower arrangement. And the embossing folder is called quatrefoil or quatrefoil or quatrefoil. I don't really know how to say it properly, but it's really nice. It's very delicate, and it's just a regular embossing folder. It's not a 3D, but I have to say the look of it is quite 3D. It's really lovely. Very vintage. So this is very vanilla, and I've cut it at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's just simply going to go on my card base. This is thick very vanilla thick cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put some adhesive on the back of this. Oh, my adhesive is just an arm's length away right here. So we can do that right away. So we're going to put some liquid adhesive on the back. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, what stories do I want to tell? Well, I might as well tell stories about my wedding prep. So I wanted to combine, I wanted a small wedding. It's a second wedding, and it's also the first time that my kids are meeting Gerard's kids. So we wanted to have a small, intimate dinner for very close family and people that are coming from Holland. And then, but I also wanted to have a big wedding in the sense that we're so happy and so excited to be able to finally, be together after all those years. And so everyone is invited to the church. And after church, there's going to be a reception with coffee and tea and desserts. So I'm really excited about that. And it's going to be live streamed to YouTube. So it will be on my channel so you guys can watch as soon as I'm putting black dimensionals on the back of this frame. And as soon as I have a link, I will share that to you. I haven't figured it out yet, but I guess my sound people at the church know how to do this. So I need to meet with them so that I can get a link. I didn't know you could make an event on YouTube, but apparently you can. But I haven't figured that out. So that's actually kind of cool because then I'll learn how to do that. And who knows what we can do with that. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I would really love it if you would take the time to subscribe. There's a little red button in the bottom corner of the video that you can just click on. And then I think after you do that, a little bell icon shows up. And if you click on that as well, then you get notified every time I go live, every time I post a video. So that's a nice way to stay in touch and not miss anything. Because I hear from people all the time and they say, oh, Jackie, where do I find you? I keep missing your videos. So subscribe, hit the bell icon, and then you should be good to go. And if not, you can always Google me, the Pampered Stamper. You'll find that when you put the Pampered Stamper in Google, and you will get my blog, and you will probably get my Stampin' Up page, you'll get my Facebook page, and you'll get my YouTube and Pinterest. So all those are great ways to find what I'm doing. I haven't been blogging lately because there just hasn't been time, but I will get back to that. For everything, there is a time and a season. So now I'm just going to stand up because I want to center this here. There. So now I have a raised frame, and you know what? I think it's slightly crooked. I think it is, but you notice that I did not press down on it. So I'm going to pick it up again. And maybe I'll go with the long side first. Oh, goodness. There's always a way to fix your mistakes. See, there's a little bit of cardstock on the back. If it gets really bad, then just use a new one or put a little dab of glue on it. You could do that too. I'm going to leave that one there. And it goes like this. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to just try to line it up like that. So there, that looks straight. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. It's a little bit over to the left, not a problem. So I have my pieces cut out, and here they are. And what I've done to color them, I'm going to use a blender pen, which is this. And I consider a blender pen, I just call it a naked marker. So what you do is you're going to take a clear block, and I want to use Old Olive, see, and Cherry Cobbler. And I've got lots of colors here, so we'll start with Old Olive, and I'm just going to put my block in it. Now I need to really re-ink my Old Olive ink pad, but you can see that there's some ink there. So we'll start with that. So what you do is you take your blender pen. You should actually make sure that it's clean. So I'm just going to go on the back of this. See, it wasn't clean, but it is green, so that's okay. So pick up the color with your blender pen, and then you can just color. Now I stamped this in espresso. If you're going to stamp in something that isn't Memento Black, then make sure you do it well ahead of the time so that it can dry and then it won't leach into your colors. And if I keep coloring without re-inking, I keep getting a lighter green. See, and then I can add some too if I want to shade. So the blender pen is really a nice way to color and to shade. I like it. It's not as intense as our blends. It's also a cheaper way to color. It's cheaper than getting all the markers. Now, the only thing is with the markers, you can color right on your stamps. And with a blender pen, that doesn't work so well. But if you have to choose, if you're just starting with stamping and you have to choose what kind of coloring method to use, then I would suggest a blender pen. And this isn't even really nice coloring at all on my part. And you know what, that's okay. Some days we do our work beautifully and other days it's just, it's okay. So I'm just going there. I'm getting better. And you can always go back and add color. The best thing to have is grace for yourself. Allow yourself to not be perfect. And then you'll have a lot more enjoyment in your hobby, okay? When you're making cards for other people, just remember they're going to be so happy that you took the time to make something. And you can see that my brown is blending a little bit in here, okay? So I would suggest that, and you know what, I'm coloring something I don't even need for my card, so maybe I'll make it a bit differently. Yeah, so if you don't like that bleeding thing, then stamp in Memento and you won't get that. So when you do stamp an espresso, try not to go over top of the actual brown lines. Okay, so then what we do after this, I'm going to use the scrap. It's kind of a waste, but just clean it like that, lightly just swipe on and see till it runs clear, and now we can start with a new color. So I'm taking Cherry Cobbler and I'm just going to ink on another corner. There. And now we're going to do the berries. And what I do with the berries is I start at the bottom and then I move up, and that way I get the shading that I want. Start at the bottom, little circles, go up. At the bottom, little circles, and up. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Let's see, here's another one. We need this little guy. It's kind of funny that I did the acorn one. I'll show you. Here is one already done. I made a box. This is for my other design team, the Demo Design Dream Team. Isn't that pretty? And these boxes are in the back of our catalog. And this is our beautiful ribbon. I forget what it's called. Let me check. Oh yeah, it's called Natural Finish Ribbon. It's 1 1/4 inches. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, that's nice. So now again, we're just going to do the berries, and I'd start at the bottom, little circles, and up we go. And then you naturally get that shading. You don't even have to think about it. There. And a light touch. I'm not pressing. Okay, that's super important. You don't need to press to get the color that you need. It does all the work. Very light touch. And again, now I want to change. Well, actually, you know what? I want to do this. Coloring is therapeutic for most people. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with doing it. And it's a good idea to watch YouTube videos because it's simple tricks like this where you start at the bottom and then work up, and it naturally goes lighter. So it's like, it's beautiful and you didn't think about it hardly. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my old olive on the other corner and just go down the middle of the leaf and then go around. So down the middle and to the sides. Down the middle, sides. And you know what? You could go just at the base and then up. That works too. Just by not re-inking, you get the shading that you want. And you can always go in and add more to create depth. See, so here I can go in and add a little bit more to my base. And then we're just going to create a bouquet. I have to do this one yet. And for this, what I want to do is, I need to clean my block. I'm going to clean my block for a minute. So now I'm going to bring in some Cajun Craze. Oh, give it a little press in the corner. So I have my Cajun Craze here. And then I want some crushed curry. And I have noticed that it's time for me to do some serious re-inking. Usually if you notice that one of your ink pads is getting a little bit dry, you might as well do them all. Okay, so I have my crushed curry. I have my Cajun Craze, and then I want a little bit of crumb cake. And crumb cake is super light. You don't hardly see it on the block, but I know it's there. So again, we need to take our blender pen and just give it a clean. And here we go. Pick up some of the crushed curry. And I'm really trying to avoid the brown because I want the nice yellow. I don't want it to be muddied. I think in my original, it was a little muddied. So I might not do it with espresso again. I don't like having to be so careful. But the brown, having espresso instead of black, does give you a softer, more natural look. And I kind of like that. So I wasn't going to do all the coloring with you, but maybe you like seeing it all. And if you're watching on the replay, you can always fast forward through those parts. Some people like to watch everything from start to finish, and other people like to rush through to the parts that are important. And you know what? I understand all of you. I have done both. Sometimes I'm a fast forward rusher, and in other times I'm a mellow watcher and I want it all. I want to hear all the chit chat. I want to see all the coloring. And yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And technology allows us to do it either way. So you can see how I was rotating it as I color. There. Okay, so now we need to clean again. So just give it a light swipe. Now we're picking up the Cajun Craze. And here I'm going to use a little bit of a different. I'm just going to pounce a little bit. I'm just dabbing down. And you could just use a marker if you wanted a little darker saturation. But when I dab like this, I'm not blending the brown as much. I've just created my own flower. This is what I thought would look nice. And then in the middle, I'm going to do a little crumb cake, just so that it's not stark white. And then I'm going to add a little wink of Stella. So the crumb cake is in this corner here. And there we go. There. Okay, and now the wink of Stella. And I think I'm going to zoom in and hopefully you guys are going to see it. Wink of Stella, you never know if it's going to show up. Okay, so this is a wink of Stella brush and you just pull. You don't turn. If you turn, you're going to unscrew the whole thing. So I'm just going to, like so, and I'll tilt it and hopefully you guys can see the shimmer. Can you see it? Anyway, in real life, it does give a beautiful shimmer. So I'm just going in the middle of my sunflowers. And the thing is, you don't want to put it everywhere, but then it's overkill. So I'm just doing the berries. Wink of Stella should be in everyone's arsenal. Oh, here, I have the berries and not the leaves on this one yet. Okay. And then I might as well show you the acorns. So for the acorns, I used soft suede and early espresso. I'm just going to, there's the soft suede. And, oh, where did my early espresso go? And I'll do early espresso right beside it. Okay, so it's just pretty small. I've got to clean off my, and I'm going to zoom out. Well, if I go here, you can see I've got my linen thread laying ready. So I want to take the soft suede and then just go on the bottom. Let's see. There's the other one. And I'm starting on the shaded part and then moving over. So it's nice and soft. It's not overly done. And now the espresso on the top, and I'm starting here at the top. There. So if you did this with blends, it would be a lot darker. So the blender pen is giving you a softer look. There. And then I don't have any old olive anymore. I'm going to dab some old olive. I want to use the old olive on, let me just move that. Oh goodness, oh yeah, here's the old olive. Just on the stems here. And then, yeah, that's good. And then the only thing I want to do is add a little bit of Wink of Stella to the top of the acorns. It also, the Wink of Stella also darkens it slightly. So it's those little details that really give you a beautiful look. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out again. There. So now, instead of, I guess I should finish this one. I need this piece for the berries. I'm going to do the leaves here. If you're getting bored, then just go and grab a coffee or something. There. And pick up the old olive. This has been a perfect activity. It's raining today in Chatham. And it's really nice to color on a rainy day. I must say it helps to have air conditioning. It gets the humidity out of the house. I feel so, so blessed. I know that not everyone has air conditioning. There we go. Okay, so now, put that aside. Now I take my piece and I kind of play with it. And I don't know if I should do it with this or, okay, let's have a look. Maybe this will be a different, and I know I'm putting things together that might not belong. But what I do is I make the bouquet in my hand and I'll put a little bit of, I lay it on my card and I sort of want it like that. And maybe that's enough with just the one thing of berries. I have some other leaves. I have some more acorns. You can do whatever you want. I was hoping I had another leaf, but I don't. And then I've already made a few bundles, and maybe I could even do it like this and the flowers at the bottom. I kind of like that. Yes, I like that extra piece. And, oh, okay. We're going to, sometimes I'm thinking on the fly, I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. Here, I've decided I'm going to make this card different than my other one. Just two will do. So take the backs off. This is going to go on the right like this. I want it to go over top of my frame. And then here, oof, I just, all right, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid adhesive here. And if there's extra, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to harm anything. I'm going to lay that across like so. There. And now I'm going to tuck this in. And I purposely left my dimensionals a little bit just in the middle so I can decide where I want that to go. And I kind of like it on this side. This is a very masculine card now, I think. So I'm just going to take this piece and put a little bit of liquid adhesive so then I can tuck it under. And here we go. Yeah. I'm just pushing that leaf up a little bit, like so, to give it a little bit of dimension. Isn't that pretty? Now, I don't know if I want to use a linen bow, but I have a piece of linen thread, and I have my bow maker here. Let me grab it. So this is just a wooden thing with some pegs. And if you want a narrower bow, you can make it smaller, but I want it to be about that big because I want it kind of loose. So I'm taking this and just wrapping it around. 1, 2, 3 times. And then I'm making an X, see? Then go around the top and down underneath. And then we're just going to tie it in a knot. Nice and tight, and you only have to do it once. So I've got the thing like that. Now I'm going to slide it off, and then if you don't want all your pieces the same, you can give it a little tug to make it bigger. There, and now I have 3 different lengths, all with just a little tug. And then I don't know if I want to put my bow up there or down here. I kind of like it down there, and we're going to use a glue dot. Okay, so the glue dots come in a box like this. You just want to take them out, and you always want to make sure that this piece is covering the last glue dot. See it? You see it there? Because if you cover this and you put it back in with all these glue dots exposed, then they're going to get stuck in the inside of your box. So expose the one that you need. Take your bow, push it on there, and I do have my pick-me-up tool. Just give it a pick it up, like so. And then you can kind of hover and decide where you want it to go, but I like it right there. I was thinking about putting it up here, and that's okay too, but I want to put it there. There we go. And I might trim the ends a little bit, but I don't, my scissors. Ooh. Here are my scissors. And we'll just trim the ends a little bit. And what I forgot to tell you, see how my ribbon is kind of kinky here? If you take a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and what I do then is I put a smidgen in the lid. Okay, so there's a little bit of rubbing alcohol in the lid. Just wet your fingers and then go like so. And it gets rid of the kinks right away. You can hear it squeaking. It just straightens everything out and it dries really fast. So it gets the kinks out of your thread and then you don't have to fight with it. See? And now I'm just going to trim it up. There and there. And then the last pièce de résistance is some of these pretty pearls. I have these pearls and they are green, red and green adhesive back pearls. It's really funny because the package comes like this and you don't see any red pearls and you really don't even see any green pearls. And you're like, they gave me the wrong package. And then you go like this and there's the red ones. And this is like a mint green, okay? So they didn't lie, and we can just do a few red ones and maybe a gold one too. They just add a little something, and they're really pretty. There, that's it. Isn't that nice? Now, if you wanted to, I'm thinking, well, is it too does that look better with that up there? So that's what I do. I kind of play with my stuff before I commit. And then I look at it and sometimes I'll walk away. And is that too much? I think so. And then I think, okay, well, what about an acorn? Does it need something? And I do like the acorn up there. See? I do like that. So I do not have another acorn, and before we go, I want to show you a little trick, okay? We'll think about the acorn for a minute. And now we're going to get out my favorite tool. Does anybody have any guesses what that might be? No, it starts with an S, the Stamparatus. So here we have it, and now I need to find my negative thing. Okay, so I have the negative here, and we're going to put it in the Stamparatus. And now I'm going to get out my Sending Many Thanks. And that's this one. And then we also need this one here. And so I'm going to start with the sending many thanks. See, and then you lay it in the black, and you can see exactly where you want it to go. And then I need to stand up. There. Okay, so then we close it up. So, and I think I don't know if my thing was totally in the center. So no, it wasn't. See, I have to change it. I wasn't being careful, and I didn't make sure that my paper was tightly in the corner. If your paper isn't tightly in the corner, then the whole system is messed up and doesn't work. Okay, so I think that looks quite decent. So now I can put my piece in again if I can find it. Here we go. And it's slightly different on both ends, so be sure you look carefully. Now we're going to put that back in. That's good. Ink it up with, ooh, what am I going to do? Oh, all right, we're doing it with espresso. They're all different, right? And there we go. Give it a nice firm press. That looks good. And now we're going to take out the outline stamp. Here, lay it in the opening, eyeball it from the top. That looks good. And then I think I'm going to do it in crushed curry just to be different. I've made a bunch of different ones. And crushed curry, tap, 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 and press nice and firm, and look how nice that is. There it is. See? Great trick. And we'll do one more. We'll take the acorn. Now, I had to use up all my cheap dollar store magnets, but my preferred magnets are from Amazon. Just so you know, because they don't fall off like this every time. It drives me crazy. I have to put them every time. I have to clean them up again. Okay, turn that around, put the acorn right in here, because I thought I might want another acorn. See, I still have to decide if I want that acorn in the top of my card. There. And then put the acorn in the open spot. And then we're going to ink it up with espresso. If I can find it. Yes, here we go. And there. See, so then you can just have a bunch of these cut out and you can just keep popping them in and stamp a whole bunch, and you don't have to stamp and be really careful. And I was also thinking about having a leaf, because I thought I might want a leaf. So then you lay the leaf in your little opening. There, I'm being too lazy to stand up and check. Hope it's good. And we'll stamp that one with Old Olive. There. And Old Olive, where did you go? Oh! Did you know that this is another thing, and I don't know if I have one. Yes. On the back of your ink pad, there are, see, let me see if I have one that hasn't been done. There are 4 of these labels. So I've got my French one. The solid one is meant to go, no, I don't think I can do this very well. It's meant to go on the front of your ink pad, right like that. And then the way to get that in there is just to press it with your pokey tool. Now mine's not perfect, but it's better to have an imperfect. That way when your ink pad is open on your desk, you know what color it is. So this one is soft suede. And then I have my crumb cake. I have all these ink pads, but not the Old Olive. Aha, it's behind. Here's Old Olive. Okay, we're going to do the leaf, and then I'm going to show you the inside of the card, and then we're done for today. You'll be sad to see me go. There, so here I have the leaf, and I should have stamped it in espresso and then colored it in Old Olive, but I didn't think to do that. And now I'm looking for my blender pen, which is right here. You can also pick up your ink directly from the ink pad. Okay, and there we go. This is going to be a softer look that it's all in green. There's no brown at all. Okay, now let's go back to our card. Remember how we had the acorn at the top? No, I just covered up my leaf, didn't I? I did. Do we want a leaf as well? Look at that. I kind of like that. What a nice, happy surprise. All right, so what we're going to do is put our fantastic, cheap, clear adhesive, our liquid adhesive. And as far as I can remember, the acorn was on first. Tuck it underneath. Oops, that's a bit far there. And then the leaf is going over top. Look at that. Very nice, Jackie. Okay, I'm happy with that card. It was a little bit too stark at the top. And then here is the other one, and let's take a look in the inside. There. So this was another cutout, and I'm so fond of you. That's just a nice thing. It's a bit of an old-fashioned way to say, you know what, I really like you. And I think that people need to hear that more often. We don't say it to people as easy. You know, you might not want to say to your friend, I love you. That might be a bit much, but I'm so fond of you is a nice compromise. So I love the look of the linen thread here. So here they are side by side. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a super day. And I think this video was almost 3/4 of an hour long. So not bad for a once a week video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share the video. And I have to announce the winner of the stamp set from last week. So I'll take a look there and randomly choose a winner from everyone who commented. Yes, sometimes it pays to comment in more than just happiness from me. All right, bye.